What's up, Blasianeers and Blasianettes? I'm gonna be giving you guys my quick review for Venom. And this is gonna be spoiler free, so don't worry, you're not gonna run into any spoilers in this review. So basically, a lot of you know who Venom is. He's like arguably Spider-Man's most loved villain, if not one of Spider-Man's most loved villains. And he gets his own standalone movie, and and then Eddie Brock is being portrayed by Tom Hardy, and the premise of the movie is basically, without giving anything away, Eddie Brock is looking to expose this really fucked up lab who's doing some heinous shit after they find these symbiotes, and then one of them attach itself onto Eddie Brock, and then that's where we get Venom. And so yeah, like going into this movie, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations. I mean, I liked what I've seen in the trailers. They were really good trailers, but just to the idea that it's not connected to the MCU, I mean, that's not a spoiler at all. It's not connected to the MCU. It's not even connected to Spider-Man. Like, this just stands on its own. Like, Spider-Man is totally not a part of the story. And I mean, that's where my expectations started to be pretty, pretty leveled, like more earthbound, you know what I mean? But and then I guess since my expectations were grounded, I didn't really find myself hating the movie at all. I mean, the plot was basically kind of cookie cutter cliche, and I didn't really care for what Eddie Brock was going through outside, and when we stepped away from the story, from the meat of the story, which is the symbiotes, once it cuts away from that and then we're focused on Eddie Brock's personal life, it kept my attention, but I didn't care. I wasn't invested. I was just like, okay. I tolerated it. It was tolerable. But I can understand why people hated it. But if you were one of those people who said this was worse than Spider-Man 3, I'm gonna call bullshit. I mean, like, there's no way this movie is worse than Spider-Man 3, and there's no way Tom Hardy is worse than Topher Grace. I mean, let's just face it, the man was just not a great choice for this character, Topher Grace, I mean. Tom Hardy, however, is an exception. I mean, like, he, like, when I heard that when he was cast for the role, I was like, yeah, I can definitely see it, and he didn't really disappoint me. It was just the movie itself. I mean, like, I didn't really have an interesting plot, and the villain was just kind of like blah. He didn't get interesting until near the end of the movie, and the third act was pretty awesome. I mean, I did kind of enjoy it. It's one of my favorite parts in the movie, and when Venom, finally is in action, it's fun to watch. But like, outside of the symbiotes and Venom and all that stuff, it's just sort of like kind of boring. But still, I mean, not hateful. I mean, it kept my attention, but I'm just like, I felt like this movie could have been better if it was connected to Spider-Man, like where, let's say we already have a Spider-Man movie where he has the black suit on, and then Super Spider-Man manages to detach himself from the symbiote, and then it finds its way to Eddie Brock, and then we get Venom, and then we give a Spider-Man versus Venom movie, and then that happens, and then we get a standalone Venom movie, and then that becomes a bit more interesting, and then boom. I mean, that's how I think this movie would have worked. And also how it could have worked is if they gave it an R rating. There were so many scenes where I'm like, yeah, that would have been a bit more gory. Like, there's no way they could have cut away from that. I mean, like, it felt like it was edited for TV. I'm like, if this was rated R, I would see, it would be a lot more messy. But I mean, still, I understand why people hated it, and I understand why, if people loved it, then hey, I mean, they're allowed to love it. Let the people love it if they do. But if you hated it, then I totally understand why. Probably because your hopes were a little too high for this movie. But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, disagree if you will, but I believe that some of you would agree that Tom Hardy was pretty good. I mean, like, he leans more closer to Venom that we would have wanted. Like the way he's portrayed, and and the way he looks and the way he talks when he's Venom. I mean, like, you know, you can tell that they have a companionship. You kind of get it, but I feel like it would have been better if they went straight from the story of Spider-Man, you know, like how he got the suit first. I mean, that's just me. That's what I kept saying to myself going in. I even have a Spider-Man shirt on. That's about as close to this story as I'm gonna get, even though Spider-Man, it has nothing to do with it. But I mean, what they were trying to do, it was decent. I mean, when it was focused on the action in Venom and the symbiotes. Other than that, it was just sort of like, I tolerated it, but it was just sort of like, I don't really care, but okay. I mean, I guess we'll walk along, you know, this road before we head in that direction. But yeah, with that all being said, I would give this movie 3 chair spins out of 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3 chair spins. And if they went along with how I would have gone with this story, then I would have given it 4.5 chair spins out of 5. But that's just me. And yeah, sit through the credits. I mean, it's like based off of a Marvel character. Duh. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed my review for Venom, make sure you thumb up the video and click subscribe if you're new to the channel. And make sure you click the notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video. Peace out, y'all.